Welcome to Own the Chaos.
Chaos Crew.
The stock market is crazy and chaotic.
And then there's the Kronos Group. Yes, people, how could I not have a pot stock on this list?
Brad and Fat Man Zoom are here to help you own it.
All right, we got the top stocks to buy if Kanye wins the presidency.
Taking it to the suits, being relatable and hilarious.
That is crazy.
We have a nice super boomer. Quite a one.
Over $31.
We have a nice super boner.
Whoa! What's up, everybody? Oh, Nicholas, what are you doing?
Do you sound weird to everybody?
Do I? The look on your face.
Your mic's all messed up, bro.
Is it really? I can't. I mean, I sound good on my side.
Ooh, you don't sound good on our side.
Are you serious?
Can you get?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh yeah, it's bad, like real bad.
All right, hold on.
Hey guys, do I sound bad too? Say Fat Man Zoom, you sound like shit.
Is it just my audio or is it all the audio?
It's all of it.
Yeah, that's weird.
It did it on the intro too. I could hear it on the video intro.
Huh. All right, well, give me a second, guys. I have no idea. Maybe if I turn this... What if I turn this down? Is that better?
No.
Oh, God damn it. I got no idea.
Can you unplug your mic and plug it in, or can you...
I'm going to try it.
Not the mic. It's not the problem.
I know what you're talking about. Hello.
Yay!
Hey! I don't know what happened. I unplugged it and plugged it back in.
That's like a Nintendo. You just blowing it, it works. Don't ask questions. That's how that shit works.
That's what she tells you.
But it sounded like it was just maxed out. Like when you turn the volume down when it's normally blasting, it just sounds like it was.
That's weird. I don't know. I got no idea, but we're good now, right?
Does it sound good for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're good. All right.
Good.
Here we go.
That was weird. Anyways, what's up, guys? Completely ruined my moment. God damn. Freaking technical difficulties.
No, go ahead. Start now. Start and welcome to Own the Chaos with Brad Smith and Fat Man Zoom.
You know, such is life when live TV or live streaming, whatever. But as apparently I scared somebody's dog. Man, sorry about that. But anyway, the market is going absolutely insane. You would think that most people are probably like, what the hell are you talking about? The market's down, but we're killing it. The Chaos Crew is killing it. Penn National's going nuts. Tesla went back up over $500 after breaking through that today, actually blowing the doors off of it today. Nvidia even doing well. We're going to talk about those Nvidia earnings too. But man, it feels like business as usual around here, Fat Man Zoom.
Yeah, as far as the market's concerned, just as sort of a macro look, we had jobs reports come out. Zoom did Zoom things, as always. Lockdowns beginning to take effect across the country.
Yeah.
Tesla, of course, everybody's excited about that. But, you know, I think overall sort of the message is what we've been saying. We're not in the clear. And so there's a lot to go over, but you know, we were prepared for this day, and I think we should all have capitalized off of it. I know who said something about $800. Yeah, so Ryan Lee said, just want to thank Chaos Crew. Ever since subscribing to you guys last month, I've made 18% increase in my total account, which is $800. That's awesome.
That's incredible, bro. That's incredible. That's awesome. And, you know, it's interesting. I think that we will start to see, I think that, and we just get right into the market in general. How do you feel about what the market might do by the end of the year? I meant to ask you this before we went on air, but let's just get the raw answer right now.
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't really thought about. So by the end of the year,
The overall market, where do you think it's headed?
honestly, if I had to predict, I think it's sideways, to be honest with you.
Okay, it's interesting.
I think that we're going to see what we saw. Well, so the prediction of the second wave and the lock, like this was kind of said. I don't know why everybody got comfortable. I guess because of the vaccines, maybe people got a little bit comfortable, but everything's followed a pretty tight script as far as when we thought the vaccine news would come.
Yeah.
That was expected around this timeline. Second wave coming, all this stuff has kind of played like we thought it would. So if that's the case, I see the overall market. If we talk about the SPY, I see that being some choppy waters, and I think the Qs end up running a little bit. I think the Qs run into the end of the year. That would be my guesstimation, which is pretty much what happened when the market came back.
Yeah, I think that you make a good point. I think the market overall, I've been saying this for quite some time now, several months, that I think 2021 is going to be a banner year for the market. Leading into the market, I think it's going to be carried by the Santa Claus rally. And a lot of that, stems from Amazon, Shopify, a lot of the e-commerce stuff, also the shipping stocks as well. But I think also there's something to be said, and this is what we talked about, having like a balance of stuff in your portfolio when it comes to recovery stocks and like the tech stocks that have done well through the run-up because of remote work and that sort of thing. And why we talked about, starting to work our way into some of the airliners and stuff like that, because I think in large part, when investors, they're looking 6 months down the road, and 6 months down the road, I think the majority of them feel as if things are going to start going back to normal. We're already starting to see some of that, not a lot of it, but some of that. And I would not be surprised if we saw some sort of melt up in the market by the end of the year, where it just goes absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I guess that might seep into January. My only thing is, like, I think how they report earnings. So I think we're going to see that data in January. So if we extended that to like January 31st, I think that's when it's going to be awesome. Unless they just start giving us, revising guidance and increasing guidance. So yeah, it'll be really exciting. But yeah, I think these holiday numbers are going to be record-setting numbers for a lot of companies, like your Walmarts, your Targets, your Amazons, all those companies.
And Gabe Navarro brings up a really good question. He said, crash is a question. I don't think we see a crash at all. I really don't. We might see a 1-2 day correction, but a full-blown crash, nope. I don't think we see it. I think we see new highs leading into the end of the year. I think the beginning of the year, especially as we get closer to having the vaccine distributed. I mean, we've already heard Pfizer is going to be starting that vaccine distribution pending FDA approval and all that, but all signs are pointing to a go by December. And obviously we're a ways off. We got plenty of feel between, now we have a vaccine and now people are getting a vaccine. But I think one big thing that could bridge that is stimulus. But, rates are going to stay down. Even with the tax rate hikes that potentially could come with fully controlled Senate by the Democrats and fully controlled House by the Democrats, obviously with the president also being a Democrat, I don't know if even 2021 is not going to be something where we see immediate tax reform. So you still have that kind of time with rates being down so low. And then also housing is when might as well get into the housing part of it. Fat Man Zoom. Housing is the numbers we saw in October, the housing numbers we saw in October are back to peaks we haven't seen since 2005 before the housing bubble. So, I mean, I think that there's just so many things going right. And there's obviously a lot of crosswinds here, but I think that there's a lot more to be positive about than negative.
Yeah, there absolutely is. Again, I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record, but we knew all this.
Yeah, I know.
We expected this. And I think, when are you people, not you, but the people, when are you guys going to just believe these are non-own the chaos? Because I know all our chaos crew members understand that. I'm not trying to like sound cocky or anything, but like we've talked about this time and time again. And so it seems like that's playing out. I'm super excited about it. It's funny how we got a little bit of trash talk yesterday when Rocket sells off 4%. It had like 3 green days in a row and then it sells off. And like, then everybody's like, oh, I told you so. I don't think the move has actually been made on Rocket. It's done really well for our Chaos crew, but I don't think the move's been made yet.
We've talked about this before, that we've actually just talked about this before we went on air. We feel like one day we're just going to wake up and Rocket is just going to go the hell off. And then have just like a multi-day run, and it could just come out of nowhere. I mean, looking at those housing numbers too, not only are we seeing October sales back to peaks we haven't seen since 2005, and then it was a bubble, but now it's not. And a lot of that reason is because household savings are at all-time highs in this country because people aren't going out and spending money like they used to. They're not going out eating dinner. They're not going to the movies. They're not going on vacation. They're not doing any of that. So most families, are doing rather well in that regard of just saving money. And loan requirements are far better than they were back during the bubble. And 32% of the houses that were sold, of the 7 million houses that were sold in October, were first-time home buyers. So, I mean, Rocket housing market, it ain't slowing down anytime soon. If you guys feel like you missed a boat on something like D.R. Horton or Home Depot or Lowe's or any of those, Wayfair even, I think we're just scratching the surface on the housing boom.
Yeah. Steve King says Rocket is a ticking time bomb. I think in a positive way.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up, Steve?
Yeah.
Who said, what do you mean, you people? One of the best lines in a movie. What do you mean, you people? You know what movie that's from?
I don't. I mean, I know I've heard it before, but I don't know. I don't remember what movie it's
Tropic Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, you people? What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? Classic. That's awesome. Hey, funny, I wanted to shout out a couple people. Eldon Rudy, I'm new to the team, but I'm starting to believe. Welcome to the crew. Funny pranks gone wrong. I think Nathan is his name. Hey, we actually... we posted your video. The members video is up. So if you guys want to go to stockwatchsunday.com/members, you can see the video there, which is the macro factors and how they'll impact the market. So we talk about stimulus. We talk about the inauguration. So thanks for that question, Nathan. Appreciate it. What's up, Primetime DJs? He says, stock prediction, Rocket to 27 by Christmas. Book it.
I like it.
So on top of that, I mean, those numbers were really good. The jobs reports came out today, which they come out on Thursday. Worse than expected. So I think 700K was the expectation, and they came in at like 740. And wouldn't you know, Zoom started a little slow, but it came back.
It took off. I ended up locking in profit on that as well. I think it probably could fizzle out a little bit as we're starting to see the rest of the market kind of come down. I noticed that Zoom started to kind of come back down as well. And so I just decided to end up taking profit, but I plan on being back in Zoom. I actually ended up stopping out at 420 after entering into the low fours. So feel really good about that trade, and we'll probably be back in. We saw some crazy numbers from the New York City schools, right? They're closing their school, which in New York City school system is the largest school system in the country. So they're shutting down. We're seeing a couple of other areas shutting down. And I believe I saw
let me give that to people. So Morning Brew actually consolidated it. New York City, the largest public school district, they closed down schools. Ohio has a 3-week curfew starting today. We know Maryland rolled back. So they're basically have to be closed by 11, I believe. New Mexico, they're told to be in a shelter in place for 2 weeks. California, tighter restrictions. Washington, Michigan, Iowa has a mask mandate. New Orleans canceled Mardi Gras. So I think we're going to hear about more of that leading into next week. So it's going to be an interesting week next week.
Zoom's still very much relevant. I was just taking a break from it just to lock in some profit, but I don't think Zoom's going away anytime soon. I mean, The only thing I could think of is if I think Zoom we might see a sell-off on Zoom when we start seeing more positive vaccine news, but I think it'll be short-lived as people start to realize that Zoom is coming up on earnings in about a week and a half. I think we'll see some really strong numbers out of Zoom, and I'm looking for Zoom to also give us an outlook. I hope that they speak to whether there's a vaccine or not. You know, kind of like how we've been talking about it, that we think that Zoom's still going to maintain its relevancy, even as people might go back to work or as vaccines get administered. I think that, you know, we've talked about Zoom's growth and how it's just everywhere and really starting to become a part of everybody's daily life. That it's just not going away because, you know, maybe we took care of the Rona. So I hope that they speak to that on their upcoming earnings. What is that, November 30th, I think?
Yeah, it's at the end of the month. We've talked about multiple times the opportunities with Zoom in healthcare and education. So they have 4 pillars. It's business, healthcare, education, and finance. I think that's how they break it down.
Yeah.
And so healthcare and education are 2 untapped markets that are starting to grow. And just go to zoom.com/healthcare or zoom.us/healthcare or zoom.us/education.
Right.
Look at what they're doing. And I've mentioned this before, education, they still haven't monetized. So they're not, because of the shutdown, they decided to not charge schools to upgrade to the paid plan.
Yeah.
So they said they're gonna wait until schools are back in session. Well, that's great that they're doing it. It looks like a great corporate social responsibility type deal. The reality is it's a great business move because now a school is integrating themselves in Zoom, and that's the platform that they've sort of like gotten comfortable with.
Yep.
They're going to pay for it when it's time to pay. So when it opens back up, that's a whole new revenue opportunity. And healthcare, again, everything moving to digital, that's a great opportunity for Zoom. They got a lot of bullish factors for Zoom moving forward.
Yep, absolutely. And so that's why we feel as if it should go back to 500 eventually. I think we'll still can see some continued choppiness as we, get through some of the vaccine news and the positivity surrounding around the Rona. But this is so much bigger than coronavirus and COVID-19. So we like Zoom for the long term. But obviously think that we'll see some choppiness moving forward, probably even to the end of the year, maybe even towards the beginning of January. But nevertheless, looking forward to those earnings.
Yeah, we got a few questions. So Funny Pranks Gone Wrong said, with Zoom, there has been several video call services already, and where are they now? Is that a worry, i.e. Skype? No, I don't think it's a worry at all. I think it proves its dominance and sort of how much better Zoom is.
Yeah, I mean, you also think that when Skype was around, people weren't working remotely like they are now. And we've talked about the cat kind of being let out of the bag here with businesses realizing that they can be much more efficient and their employees are happier when they're working from home. So this is now going to just become the normal, I think.
Yeah, and C-Buck said Zoom, I think you said Zoom 1450 resistance holding. I think you meant support holding. What's the support looking like for Zoom? Yeah,
so if I bring us out here to Webull, I can show you where Zoom's sitting right now. It's sitting at 416.73. I have a support here at 403. And then if I pull this back out to the daily, let's look and see where 415 actually is here. So right around here. I don't know if I would consider 415 maybe, probably closer to 410 would probably be more likely support, but we'll see if it holds. I mean, it's still green on the day, but like I said, I wanted to make sure I locked in profit, so I ended up stopping out of this around 420, but do plan on being back in if we start to see it get back down to those low $400 ranges.
Nice. Donation, Steve King. This is my toilet paper money because I can't find any stores. Any in stores. People are stupid. Thanks for the donation, bro. And thanks for the donation. Donna donated on the first donation for our Stockwatch Sunday page.
Yeah. So stockwatchsunday.com. If you guys want to donate to the channel and just kind of donate to the cause, let's just be clear. I just want to be open and honest about
transparent.
it. Yeah. YouTube takes half of your donations and we only get the other half. So if you guys aren't about that and you're like, that's bullshit, go to stockwatchsunday.com and donate to us.
Yeah, so we had some people that specifically asked, hey, is there any way I can donate to you instead of giving the cut? So we're fine either way, wherever you want to make your donation.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we have to split that with YouTube, and that's actually insane.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain. So yeah, if you just go to stockwatchsunday.com, right, it's the first thing in the middle. If you want to donate to the page,
Yep.
Greatly appreciated. Daniel actually asked thoughts on Sono. Thanks for the donation, Danny.
Sono, let's see here. Sonos Group, I think probably is starting to make a huge turnaround. I wouldn't buy it all the way up here because it's already up 30%. So I just wait for some sort of pullback. We look back on the daily chart. I mean, it was already making a really nice move. It's now up about 100% from where it was back in September. So I just wait for a pullback, man. I think you're going to see some sort of gap fill to some extent, maybe back down into like $18, $19 range. So I would just wait on this, but huge move on that today.
Yeah. Speaking of huge moves, Tesla continues its huge move. Another great day in the books for Tesla so far. Broke that 500. It's trying to stay above that as we speak, slightly above $500. Man, what a beauty.
Yeah, Broseph. It looks damn good. So just looking at the chart here, I just wanted to pull it up. You guys know that we've been talking about this rising wedge pattern over the last really couple of months, really since September, post split, that it's been creating this wedge. And we talked about, this is going to break out one way or the other. Either it's going to break down through this wedge and continue to fall downwards, or it's going to break out and up. And obviously the S&P inclusion helped us along a little bit, but this is clearly in a breakout at this point. We've talked about speculations of potentially Warren Buffett buying some of this up and all that good stuff. But nevertheless, you just look at the technicals and you can tell that this is a very clear breakout. I'm excited about it. I think that there's still a potential pullback in order, but to see this go up over $500 a share today was just awesome. It was just, I don't know, all-time highs for Tesla, which is great.
Yeah, and we've done a couple videos on Tesla the last couple of days, but Tesla is exciting. I mean, this is great. This is going to be fun. Expect a lot of volatility. I'm saying it, I think before December 21st, before the S&P inclusion, I think it goes back down to 450. I think that's a pretty bold prediction.
Yeah.
But for those of you who are worried about it or who are getting that FOMO, I believe that there's going to be other opportunities and pretty big opportunities. So we'll see how this sort of plays out. It's a different monster. I don't know. Normally we'll have a little bit of a run up after the S&P. I'm not sure, but there will be a sell-off when that happens. So yeah, just be patient with it. When the dust settles, there'll be opportunities for everybody to get in. Long-term, Tesla is great. Looks great. Excited about that.
I actually ended up trimming out of this yesterday, and I know that you did too as well, correct? You ended up trimming out?
I did.
And so it just made sense to just take some off the table, use this to buy maybe something else that had been beat up or what have you. I actually used some of the proceeds of Tesla to work my way into Spirit Air System, which I think that's our next topic of discussion, right? Talking about some of the recovery stocks.
Nvidia is.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about that. We can talk about Nvidia next, and then we'll get into some of the recovery stocks that we have. Rob and Nancy, welcome to the Chaos Crew. Also want to give a shout out to some of our folks over at Twitch. Got a few people hanging out in there as well. And I see your questions. We'll definitely be getting to those too, but appreciate you guys hanging out in there too. So Nvidia went and just blew out earnings. Didn't have the kind of reaction that people expected, I guess, or hoped it would have. But you took advantage of this, and speak a little bit about the just the Nvidia earnings overall, and why you ended up making the entry you did.
Yeah, I'm pissed because I can't access it right now, but I'll do it kind of off the top of my head. So Nvidia, I got in after hours. I felt good. I mean, I love Nvidia. It's the N in Fat Man Zoom.
Yeah.
And so I got into that, and I got in at 523. 523.
Yeah.
yesterday after hours, and I felt really good. Here's what I took from it, and I'm gonna do. I'll be prepared like whenever I do a video or whenever we talk about it again, because I'm still compiling notes from the early earnings call. But I listened to the earnings call, and it was great. I mean, we talked in the mentorship about a couple of bearish, like small bearish things, but nothing that stood out. Everything else was bullish. Their cloud gaming was like 5 million people, 5 million subs, which doubled over the past 7 months. AI looked really good. Talked about automotive, their partnership with Hyundai, and by 2022, all cars will have baseline Nvidia technology in the screens. And then I know Esperanza was like pissed that it was Hyundai, but Mercedes, they got a partnership. They got a partnership with a bunch of them.
Yeah, they do.
Cloud services, they got partnerships with Oracle, Amazon, Microsoft. So like they have all these great opportunities coming up. And then one of the big things I was excited about, I think it's like Nvidia Broadcast, where they just launched a solution for people like you and me. So basically AV solutions to help streaming, video conferencing, or any sort of recording. And we know we struggle with that. That's a huge pain point for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And as more people move towards are using these technologies like Zoom or any sort of video conferencing or video entertainment streaming, these tools are going to help you. And I'll tell you what, if it was, I don't know how much it costs, but it's something that we will look into because it's going to help our quality in our video, our quality in our audio. So I think that's a great opportunity. All of that stuff, in addition to some healthcare opportunities, make me feel extremely bullish about Nvidia. And next to Elon Musk, I think Jensen Huang's top notch. I mean, he's top 2 CEOs in my mind.
Yeah.
He's just a beast. So I love their management. I love everything they're doing. And I was really excited about their call. I'm up a couple percent on it.
Yeah, Nvidia was something that we have been saying for a while. It's just something that you just buy and hold. Of course, there's opportunities where you can just kind of be in and out and kind of ride the momentum in those situations. But if you were somebody who was just looking for something to buy and hold forever, obviously, you know about Apple and Microsoft and Google and Amazon, all those other ones, and Nvidia's right in there. It's one of those ones that you could hold forever and just make a bunch of money and literally retire off of having this in your portfolio. It's going to continue to roll here. One thing that I will, if you guys were a little bit bummed about the reaction after hours with earnings, the similar thing happened last time around. They crushed earnings, obliterated them. The very next day, they actually closed red. And then came down into this support around 477. This is before it went up over 500. 500 back then was, of course, a pretty tough resistance for it. And then it just blasted through that the next 2 weeks. Went all the way up to as high as 590 back on September 2nd. So I'm not saying that the same thing's going to happen, but this has a habit of selling off after earnings and then just ripping. It's done this time and again, so not going to say that it will definitely happen. Obviously, history doesn't always provide future results, but I think that there's definitely encouraging to see that this is actually moving somewhat decently, and it'll probably continue to do so in the coming days and weeks. And really, it's just a good long-term hold overall.
Ryan Lee said, the real question is, Brad, does your computer run on Nvidia or AMD?
It runs on Nvidia, my friend. It's actually Intel and Nvidia. I have a GeoForce card in here.
Amar's in the house. What's up, Amar? I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. Yeah, so Steve said Nvidia is a beast. So glad I dip ad. Trevor asked if oh no. Trevor said Nvidia is due for a split. That would be sweet.
That would be sick.
That would be. Eldon Rudy, what's going on? Asks, are you going to be adding to your Nvidia position? I will add to my Nvidia position.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait and see which way this decides to go. But I'm good at where I'm at now, my entry now. If it comes towards 500, you better believe I'm adding on.
Yeah.
But if it moves up, I'll probably look for an opportunity on the pullback.
Yeah, I mean, on the daily today, or I should say on the 5-minute chart today. I was looking for this to break up above 536. I actually put this out on Twitter too. If you guys follow me on Twitter, at Own the Chaos, also at FatmanZoom. I put on Twitter that 536 was going to be the magic number that I felt it needed to break in order for it to continue to run. Sure enough, broke over 536 and it was off to the races. Went all the way up to almost 540 today with a little bit of a pullback and retesting 536 as a new support. So we could be seeing this continuing here after today. It would be great if it held the support at 536. That was the old resistance and looks great. Looks great right now sitting at 538. We love Nvidia. Buy it, hold it forever, thank us later. And yeah, man, it's awesome.
Rob
Great
said,
stock.
love your content. What's going on, Rob? Been watching for a few months. Glad to finally join. Yeah, we're glad to have you, brother. Sean, donation, man. Thanks for the donation. Thanks for the tip, fellas. Did a quick one-day swing trade yesterday with Peloton and Zoom. Paid off large. You guys are awesome. Yeah, we're going to talk about those in a second, or Peloton in a second. But that's awesome. Great trade. Good work.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Appreciate the
We'd take green.
Canadian dollars. Appreciate that.
Dead League said, when are you starting Camp Chaos? I want to come to Maryland and spend a week kicking it and learning from the best. Funny you should ask.
Yeah.
I actually I'm going to give some people some news if you would humor me. So we've been talking about the office. The office moves closer. I just met with a designer today for the furniture and the upfit of the studio. So I'm going to meet with them again tomorrow. I'm really excited at how it's going to come along. Maybe we'll talk more about it. If you guys want to ask me tomorrow in the Friday private live stream for the Chaos crew, I can tell you a little bit more details about it. So that's the point of the studio. It's going to have a living room, lounge, kick it feel, a bar, so we can do things like that and have you guys in there trading. So I'm excited. I should probably post that video of it empty just so they can see the space in the Chaos crew. But I got some news. You don't even know about this. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
You guys are going to love this. So our studio is going to be in Baltimore City. I live in Baltimore City. Brad's right outside of it. We've really been talking about trying to find ways to support local businesses and help local businesses. So we're going to do things in the future where we're going to sell merchandise and stuff of that sort. And in the meantime, just give that money to local businesses that you guys can help us out with and our community can support. So next to me, next to the horse, is a place called Zelda Zen. Have you seen Zelda Zen, Brad?
Yeah.
She sells candles, and it's the only thing that's keeping. She literally said to me, I would be out of business if it wasn't for candles. So she's been shipping candles. So I bought this candle today from her. It's actually a Ruth candle, RGB candle.
That's hilarious.
And it's her best-selling one. So I bought it. This is a local company out of Sykesville that makes it. So Sykesville is actually near Brad.
Yeah.
She said they can do custom candles. So we're going to do an Own the Chaos candle. And I'm going to fast track it. And you know what the first flavor is going to be?
What's it going to be?
Doesn't have to be a boner candle.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was thinking
we're going to do an Own the Chaos boner candle.
Thinking boner candle or hell yeah, or something like that.
We're going to have a whole line of it and we're going to help support her, get her going. But I was like, you can do whatever we want. She's like, yeah, I'll get with my manufacturer. So we're going to have boner candles legitimately for you guys to buy, and it's going to go to a good cause. So
that's going to be awesome.
I was super pumped.
Come get your boner candle. That's going to be great. That's going to be
But
great.
I think it should just say boner. And then you're like, oh, that's my boner candle.
Yeah, right. It should be green. She should make them green.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. So this is, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, so this one's green. So we'll keep it. Yeah, we'll keep it green. Yeah, so we're gonna show them the power of the Chaos crew. And if it could help businesses, that's always a great cause.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
So anyways, I digress. So the last topic on the agenda before we talk about our stocks, you want to talk a little bit about the airlines?
Yeah, I did personally, only because I did buy into Spirit Aerosystem. And so just to give you guys full disclosure, I'm going to This is I guess, public live stream exclusive. So if you guys are part of the Chaos Crew, you already know this. If you're not, and you're watching right now and you're on the fence about the Chaos Crew, I want to just show you my entire portfolio via Webull. So this is just a public portfolio that I started with $5,000. I've been adding to it once a month. I take YouTube revenue and then add to this account. And also we get referrals from them as far as, if you guys sign up under Webull, we also use that money to add to this account just to continue to build it up. I wanted to provide a realistic approach to this, in that, people like to say how they start off with $5,000 and turn it to $1 million or whatever. And I just don't believe that that's realistic. So I decided back in late August to start this Webull account with $5,000 and gradually add to it as things go along. And, so far, we're outperforming the market. This is how it compares to the NASDAQ right here. It's up 20%, as NASDAQ since the end of August is only up 6%. So we're obviously crushing it there. If you guys are a part of the Chaos Crew, you've already seen this. You can see how I'm continually moving this up. And we've obviously been down for a little bit, but it never lasts long. And, if you want access to this, hit that join button or get to the link in the description and become part of the Chaos Crew. It starts out at $5 a month for the daily watch list. It's $10 a month to get access to the portfolio. We're also considering working on potential alert services as well. So let us know if you guys would be interested in that. So just know exactly when I buy in and buy out of stuff, or sell out of stuff. And so, but anyways, after that spiel, I did get into Spirit Air Systems, and this is something that I talked about in the Chaos Crew a couple of days ago. The reason I did this was because of the Max Air approval from the FAA. Spirit Air Systems builds the fuselages for Boeing. And so with Boeing taking off and doing incredibly well already, Spirit Air Systems seems to be lagging a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit, in a sense that it is still way down. And I've been gradually adding to this. And as you can see, I'm actually a little bit red on it right now still. I'm down about 4.5% or so. But I wanted to grab a starter position. I just kind of want to show you proof of concept that this is how I get into everything. I start off with a little starter position, add to dips where it's necessary. But if we go ahead and look out onto the weekly chart and just kind of look at some of the upside that this has done nothing but been beaten down. It hasn't really made any kind of move since the bottom of the market all the way back in March. This is a weekly chart. Back when it was at $100 a share was when the Max Airs stopped production. Now they're producing again. It's going to take a while. We're going to see some volatility, but I think within the next 6 to 12 months, Spirit Air Systems is going to be close to potentially getting back to these areas. Boeing now hopes to manufacture 30 730 MAX planes per month by 2022. That is their goal. So it's short of the rate of $50 a month. It hoped to establish now, but still 30 a month. Even in 2022 is good. We're already seeing that the first 737 MAX will be in flight in December. So if all goes well, I would imagine we start to see more and more orders come out of Spirit. So this is what we talk about when we're up on things, we sell. When we're down on things, we buy. Or when you start to see stocks that are beaten down, you buy. And I think this is still going to be a really good time to get into Spirit. And don't go all in on this. As you guys can see, I'm just gradually scaling myself in. This is a strategy that I employ all the time. Dollar cost averaging is the way that I go all the time. I think this gets up over $37 a share. We should see a really nice run up on Spirit. And as it compares to Boeing, it does mirror it to a certain extent, but Boeing still, if you look at from the bottom of the market, Boeing is up from $89 to $203, and Spirit isn't up nearly as much percentage-wise as Boeing is, which is why I think that there's plenty of upside here to go.
Yeah, Tan has had Spirit since April and sold last week. That's how that goes. We talked about it. I think a couple people on our crew were here when I talked about it and I got onto it. But basically I don't know how I accidentally fell into Spirit Aerosystems. But we knew this move was going to come, and it's great. Honestly, I'm surprised it came so early, but yeah, it had created a crazy support. and we were just waiting for something like this for it to go off. So for anybody that likes Boeing, Spirit's a great counter to that, or sorry, like a complement to that.
Yeah.
If you feel like it's ran a little bit too much, so Spirit's good. And then on the airline front, the other news that was really interesting was they just announced that their British Airways, American Airlines and United Airlines are started test flights to Europe. So to UK, that they're going to try COVID test flights. And so British Airways and American Airlines partner in their program. So their program looks the same, which is a series of 3 tests for you to be able to fly transatlantic. And then British Airways is a little bit different of how they're testing, but this is great. And I think I mentioned to you this morning, I think it's time to potentially consider getting into Delta, because we've been really pushing Southwest. We feel good about Southwest, but from an international perspective, once international travel truly opens up, Delta is going to go off.
Yeah.
Might take some time, but this is a great first step towards that.
Yeah, we've been talking about this over the last couple weeks when Pfizer first came out with their vaccine, that we felt as if starting to scale into airliners would be a wise decision. And obviously not going and betting the farm on it, because we still think there's going to be a lot of turbulence coming for the airliners. But we think that overall they're going to have a pretty good 2021 and start to come back. And I think 2022 is really where the airliners start to finally feel as if they're back to normal.
Yeah, I agree. And to be clear, this isn't me saying get into American. It could move. I'm not a fan of American Airlines. Just bringing up the news that they have, that they're testing that out. But yeah, I mean, it is going to be, it's going to be a tough road, especially when earnings come out next year. But if this is a forward-looking vessel, I think there's good opportunities to get into some levels. And you're talking about, Delta's pushed up a little bit, and it looks like there's sort of this key resistance at about 39 or so. But yeah, I mean, Delta before the crash was above 60.
Yeah.
So all that stuff's good stuff for it. So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on airlines. We'll talk to you guys as that goes. Somebody asked about, Shane Haley asked, do you still like JetBlue, Brad? I think that's a yes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They got a pretty good balance sheet as well. Had highs of recent highs of $16. Really, the trouble spot for JetBlue was 13, and now that we're up over that, I think it's going to be the most solid support it has moving forward. And so I like JetBlue a lot. If you can get it down to closer to that $13 range, I think you'd be in really good shape. But even here, it seems as if it's a good buy.
Shane said, I love the due diligence. Just YOLO'd 90% of my account into Spirit.
Yeah, go for it.
Trevor, I think you're thinking of something else, because Spirit doesn't have a good dividend. It's
it's a whole penny. It's a whole penny.
I'm sure you're thinking of another probably industry stock. So, and to be clear, that's not Spirit Airlines.
Right.
Different.
Yeah. Spirit Air System.
Okay. So let's talk about the overall market. I want to talk about what we got into, what we're looking at, stocks we're watching. So I did want to point out first, I pulled up the watch list of the last 3 days. Yeah. And I just want to call out a couple tickers that have shown up on the watch list if you were a part of the Chaos Crew. And we've put this in a member video, which is like how to play the watch list. And really the point was, thanks for the upgrade, Dead League, upgrade to level 2.
Hell yeah. There we go.
One of the points we make is we're swing trading. So the plays may take a day or two to develop.
Yeah.
So couple call outs, and they're not all right, but Nvidia we had on Tuesday, or not, sorry, Nvidia we did have on Tuesday. Shopify we had on Tuesday. How's Shop doing?
Doing mighty fine.
Penn we had Tuesday. Obviously Tesla we had on Tuesday. We had Target. We had Etsy. How's Etsy doing?
Etsy, where I haven't looked at Etsy all day. Actually, let's take a look at that. Etsy.
Let me read what I put for the Etsy. Another example of a stock that simply isn't stay at home but here to stay. Etsy has a strong niche, a great brand. I just realized a typo, and is positioned for any climate. This drop on vaccine news is unjustified. It should be an absolute gift down here. Look to see if it bounces off the 123 support, and that would be a great area to get a starter on. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, and it went from 120, actually came down to 120, and went right back up over that, and now it's sitting at 134.45. It's up 6% just on the day to day.
Yeah, so that is a textbook. We're looking for confirmation when it gets to that 23, see how it works out. Got to 120, but we saw the bounce off that. But again, it didn't move that much that day, but like great move today.
Yeah.
Couple days later, so that's what swing trading is about. But we had a few. Shop was another good example. If you pull up the shop chart, it didn't do too much, and then all of a sudden, I mean, it's trying to break. I think 1,000. I think it was at 975 last time I checked.
975 right now. Yeah. And
Yeah,
we've said this. I don't know how many times we've said this about Shopify, that anything under 1,000 is a buy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then, Baba, we were talking about below 250. We said 247 in there. So all these things, we don't get them all right, but the majority of them, I think we're pretty good on. And so having patience, remembering these are swing trading, we're just not getting in the morning and selling at night. These are great opportunities. And if you have patience and if you have a strategy, all that stuff is good. And then this morning, I mean, we had Salesforce, Penn again, Rocket again, Nvidia, Zoom, pretty much anyone today you just pick. They all did really well. And not all of them started the day that way. If you would have got Zoom in the morning, you'd have been sitting pretty well as Zoom tries to make a comeback. Looks like everything's trying to make a comeback right now.
Yeah, I was just about to say my entire watch list is green. I'm just looking at the overall market. Let me go over here, check out the overall market. Yeah, everything's moving up. Was there some kind of news? This is a huge move. Dow's up almost another 100 points after being down over 100 points. Really, just, you know what it is? We went live and the market just took off. That's what happened. Literally,
Kramer saw us and he said something that we said, and we're good.
Bro, literally 2 o'clock we went live and the market was like, oh, the chaos is live. It's time to make some moves.
Everything's good. Looks like Schumer. It looks like there's talk of resuming negotiation over stimulus.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Stimulus.
This isn't.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that this is the bridge.
You first.
This is the bridge that we feel that's necessary to get us to vaccine deliveries. So if this actually ends up going through, it's going to be great for the economy. It's going to be great for the stock market. Oh, man, that would be awesome if we got stimulus through it. Even if it was before January, I still am on the fence of believing that this actually goes through before January for those Georgia runoffs. But it'd be great if they actually came together and finally did something.
Thanks for the news, Jose. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Spirit is a baby Boeing. If you can't avoid Boeing, buy Spirit. It goes hand in hand. All right. So, so I just, a couple things I got into, and I want you to talk. I mean, you already mentioned it, but anything else you want to mention? Peloton's one I picked up a couple days ago. I picked up PayPal this morning. Penn has been one. I'm not selling Penn, bro. I'm not selling Penn till the end of the year.
Me either. I trimmed off a little bit of Penn here and there, and I'm good with what I got now. And yeah, we can hold on to that forever. I really don't care.
And DraftKings story is the same. We like Penn better. DraftKings may actually have a better move off the general news that's coming.
Yeah.
So Michigan, this will hurt if Michigan doesn't announce by the end of the year, but I don't know why Michigan wouldn't announce. I actually set an alert in my Google. If the Michigan Gaming Control Board announces anything, I'm going to get it in my inbox ASAP. So you guys will know as soon as I hear, but Penn's going to do great things. I just feel really confident about it. So that's good. But I added to Penn yesterday, Peloton. I picked up PayPal this morning, and Baba has been a beast for me. Baba has been an absolute beast.
Yeah, we said this as well. You know, through Singles Day and all of that garbage that going on through Baba, that we said that this would be a buy around 257. How far did it actually come down? Came down to 240. Well, it came out 247 after hours. Really, the lowest it came down was 253. 257 is where we would hope that it would have held. But man, what a grab! This has been an awesome move. Now, hope some of you guys were able to get into some Baba. I think this continues into the end of the year.
I do too, man. Baba to 300.
Yep. I 100% agree with that.
We got a few people that came into the Chaos Crew. Thanks, Doozy. Welcome to the crew. Oliver, welcome to the crew. Andrew, welcome to the crew. Straight to level 2. Said,
That's
screw
what
it.
I'm talking about.
I'm getting level 2. I want the public portfolio.
That's what I'm talking about.
Andrew asked, where do I access the Weeble Challenge portfolio? So if you go to the community tab at the Only Chaos page, go to the community tab. And there, Brad posts it after market close.
Yeah, and if you are a level 2 member, or if you're a Chaos Crew member, anytime I post something that's designated for the Chaos Crew, whether you're level 1 or level 2, you should get notified by email or even through your push notifications on your YouTube app. So you should get notified. I put them up every evening after the market closes, let you know what changes I made, all that good stuff. Yeah. So you should get notified that way. But again, if you want to find it, go to this channel's homepage. So just click on the Own the Chaos icon and then go to the community tab, and all of the Chaos Crew content is there.
Donna Lindsay, I don't know if you were here when I said it, but thank you so much for the donation. She donated to our page. She's the one. She didn't want to pay you. She
didn't want to pay YouTube.
So
yeah.
Straight to. But no, we're really grateful, and I wanted to make sure to shout you out if you didn't hear us earlier. Thank you for that. And she said, I was waiting for the Thursday drop to pick up more pen.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, looking good. All right, so those are the things I'm looking at. Those are the things I got into. What did you get into? What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, really, all I got into was Spirit. I ended up selling out of Zoom. I got into Nvidia this morning, and really, that's kind of been it. I feel like we talked about all of that. I ended up trimming out of Tesla, so lots of activity here. I'm not adding to Rocket, but if anybody who is looking to add to Rocket, I think that this is a pretty good opportunity at this point. But I'm in full position. I'm really happy with my average, so I'm not going to add to that. But yeah, I started to think to myself, I didn't really do too much over the last couple of days, but I've actually done a lot, with some of the trades that I made. So, and I can actually show you as well. If you look at this account here, all of the orders that I've made. So ended up stopping out of Zoom completely, with some pretty decent profit there. Spirit, you guys can see that I added there. Nvidia, bought that this morning. Tesla stopped out with partial amount, with average of 433, which felt pretty good there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But it's just been a lot of activity for me in particular. I don't usually make this many trades within, a couple days time.
I wanted to ask you about a stock that may end up coming on the watch list soon. You had made a lot of money on Fiverr, and I don't know if you've noticed, but you sold out of your position for Fiverr, right?
Yeah.
Upwork's been running, and it hit 52-week highs today, and Fiverr has not.
Mm-hmm.
Fiverr just announced today that they're expanding to Latin America, or they're expanding in Latin America, and I'm wondering, is this something we need to keep an eye on to potentially get back into? And if you know any reason why Upwork's moving like crazy, but Fiverr is not.
I don't know why. Fiverr is actually selling off. Let me look at Upwork here, see what's going on there. Upwork CEO and chief people officer, both names as staffing industry by analysts. Looks like that happened about 5 hours ago. So, Global Power 150 women in staffing list. So I guess that was something big for them. I don't know. But not sure why this continues to roll up. But Fiverr is the buy here. Fiverr is the better company. They have a larger pool of freelancers. They just are going to continue to rock it. I would say this is a really good buying opportunity. I don't know if it's because it just had a strong move. I actually ended up buying in the Fiverr last week back here in the 144, 145 area. Ended up selling in the high 170s, which I thought was a fantastic trade. And then it kept going to 190. So still a great trade, but was wishing I could have kept some. I think this is going to be another good opportunity to potentially grab the dips on this. But I like Fiverr a lot, as I just think it's just really kind of taken over all the market share. Upwork might start to work its way in, but I really doubt it's going to continue to really rival Fiverr in a way that Fiverr has just taken over the globe.
Yeah. Ema, shout out. Ema is officially a green bull.
Hey, there we go. Thanks, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one to maybe keep an eye on. I've noticed that Upwork's been moving the past couple of days. So we'll look into that a little bit more. Donna, you will be a bull soon. Just stick with us.
Appreciate the donate too, Ema. It says, what do you think about using leaps to invest longer term so you tie up less capital? I don't know about leaps. I know of it. I know that it exists, but I really haven't looked into it at all. So I'd have to check it out. I don't really know much about it. I also wanted to shout out Shane. Shane donated to the channel too. He said, hope my Seahawks win tonight, donating for good karma. Whatever helps, bro. And then Jaco with the donate as well. So thanks, guys. We appreciate that.
Appreciate that. So, so that's kind of what we're watching. That's what's on the watch list. We'll get into the Q&A. What are you guys watching? What do you guys want to know about? Give us a little bit of context. But like Brad said before, I don't know who's watching. How many people we got, brother?
We got 357 folks hanging out here in YouTube. We actually have people watching in Twitch as well. We're up to 14 folks in there. Got some questions in Twitch, and I know we got some questions over on YouTube as well. And I also, before we get to questions, I also wanted to talk about this. Fabian Zuman and I have been talking about this as well. We're simulcasting on Twitch and YouTube, but we're thinking about maybe just providing just extra content for anybody who's on Twitch. Give us some ideas. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. You know, if there's something else that we could do with it, because we do realize that there's potential here on Twitch as well, or maybe, you know, we'll just kind of figure out how it works, but we're just looking for some ideas. We're always looking to hear from you guys because you guys have the best ones, honestly. So let us know.
Yes. Yeah. So like I was saying, if you guys want the watch list, if you guys want to be a part of the live stream, private live streams that we do on Friday, click the join button. It's by the chat. This is essentially what we do in the morning. Stocks we're looking at. So obviously you'll have these Tuesday, Thursday live streams that are public, but there's a boatload of more confirmation. So all you guys who are right there, just go ahead and click the button month to month. Just do it. You won't regret it.
Yep.
All right, here we go. So I saw somebody ask about Eli, Jeff, Callaway, Eli update. All right, so Callaway update, still moving, baby. It's still moving. I'm out, but
I'm out too. I can't believe how much this has moved. Yeah, it's gone up. A lot of this has moved up because of, obviously they had really good earnings, but the vaccine news also propelling this. We liked ELY or Callaway Golf as a Rona play too. Like it was doing well through the Rona, and now it's only going to continue to do well now too. So I think it's going to head right back up over $20 a share, and their Top Golf investment is only going to continue to grow. Who knows where Callaway goes from here, but I think it's only going up. I can tell you that.
Yeah, 179. I don't think stimulus will pass. Maybe a big hype again, then a pullback in the market with no stimulus like last time. Cash is still king in case of a big red Friday sale. So that's a good point. We talked about this before. We'll probably do a video or a separate live stream with this topic. I don't think there's any chance in hell that these stimulus negotiations are clean. I don't think they go through right away. I do think the stimulus will pass. Excuse me. But I think there's going to be volatility. So this news is great. Market's going to move. Don't get crazy, right? This may be an opportunity for take profits. But as we hear news, there's going to be some posturing. There's going to be some hardball that's being played, and that's going to make the market become volatile. These are opportunities. So look for those opportunities. Tomorrow will be an interesting day. We'll see if we get anything specific that we hear. But make no mistake about it, it will pass. And when it does pass, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'm here for it. That's all I can say. Got a question about Penn. over on Twitch says, "Hey Brad, question from earlier. It said I'll be joining the Chaos Crew soon. I said about Penn. I live in Pennsylvania, and many winter sports are starting to look like they won't happen, such as high school and Ivy Leagues canceled their winter sports. Do you think any professional sports have the chance to get canceled? Because I know that would cause a big pullback on Penn. Just looking to add to any position. Don't know if I should get in now before Michigan news or wait till the Rona. Just be in it, bro. I don't think, there's no way that we can actually determine if that's going to happen. Of course, it's concerning to see some of the high school and collegiate level schools pulling their winter sports. But I feel as if on the professional side, they're not perfect, but they're doing a good job at containing the virus within their ecosystem. Obviously, we've seen some infections on the NFL side of things and even on the collegiate level, but I think they're doing the best they can with a contact sport as much as an NFL is. And we've pointed out some things that we didn't really care for as far as what made sense containing COVID. But I don't think on the professional level that we're going to see cancellations at all. Obviously, the NBA did an incredible job just kind of living in the bubble, and they're getting ready to start up their season. And I mean, hockey did a really good job as well. So I don't know if we see a turn down in winter sports on the professional level this year, but if it does, just obviously prepare yourself for that. But no, I don't know if I would want to be out of Penn or any of the other sports gambling stocks either, for that matter.
Yeah, I would agree. NFL's too stubborn to cancel their season, so I think that's impossible, nearly impossible to happen unless it's government mandated. The only one I would keep an eye on is really NCAA. Thinking about March Madness, college students. I'm not worried about football. That's the one that's going to be interesting to see how they navigate that. And March Madness, if March Madness didn't happen, that's a huge challenge to betting. But that's really the only one that I've got my eye on, but it's not enough to get me out. So, and we'll see that coming. We'll see probably like some positives. They try to make it work. And then again, and so if you feel at that point, maybe they might cancel their season, that's something to worry about. But until Super Bowl, I'm going to be in it until Super Bowl. You do whatever you want, but I'm going to be in it until Super Bowl. One of the largest betting days there is. January is a great month, an awesome month for revenue for these companies. And you're going to see it. You're going to see record numbers coming out of there. And nothing's going to outweigh the positive news of Michigan. So that's going to be great for any of those stocks you're in. That are the online gaming stocks. So DraftKings and Penn, you're probably one of the two of those in those boats.
Yeah.
Either one of those are going to go off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Trevor Sachs, actually, let me ask Oliver's question first. Why is Amazon moving down considering its pharma announcement, waiting for the pop?
That's a great question, and I really can't explain that away. I'm not quite sure why. I have no idea. I don't have an answer for that for Amazon at this point. We've talked about this being a buy in the low $3,000 range. I will say though that the pharma news isn't as big as a lot of people are making it out to be. It's a big deal, yes, but I don't think Amazon's quite figured this out. You can't actually discount drugs, so there's no advantage there. And the only thing that Amazon's able to do is the mail-in side of it. I don't think that they have it all together just yet. When you compare it to something like GoodRx, I think that GoodRx still has, even though it got to it got hit pretty hard on that news, and CVS did as well. I think that they're just better equipped than Amazon is on this side of things. I just don't think Amazon is going to do well as far as that's concerned. But I just don't know why the sell-off now. There's other reasons to buy Amazon. The pharmacy side of things is just not what I would be going after. But GoodRx is going to be the one that I'd be going after. I cannot remember the ticker symbol to save myself. But there it is, GDRX. I thought that's what it was. But GDRX is up 12% today. And I expect a lot of the other pharma companies, especially CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, to start making moves as well, because they're going to also do well on the vaccine side of things. But Amazon's still a buy because of the way that they handle e-commerce. I don't know if it's a buy because of the way that, or because of the pharma announcement in general.
Got it. Trevor bought Facebook at 273. I think that's a great entrance. Thinking about adding more thoughts. I feel like if you got it at 273, this is how I work. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. You know, I found myself getting in at a number and then it moved down or up, and like I'd get in, I'd add at the same number. I don't love doing that because I don't think anything's necessarily happened. So I would stay in the entry, and feel free to disagree, Brad. I would stay in the entry and wait till there's another move somewhere else. Like if it's a move down, and Amazon's in the same boat where it's kind of sideways a little bit, but like see what news happens, be happy with going green. It is at really good levels, so I'm not mad at you if you add to it.
Yeah.
But if you have some extra scaling stuff, I guess that depends on how much scaling you have. If you only have one more scaling, I just hold off. Wait for the move, wait for a pullback, whatever it is. That's sort of how I would suggest playing that.
Yeah, honestly, I really couldn't have said it any better myself. It's exactly what I would have gone with.
I feel like that happens all the time. I'll get into something, it'll dip down a little bit. I'll get in again, and I'm like, oh, I got in at the same price. And then it goes down, and I'm like, oh, shit, I wish I would have waited till the drop happened.
Yeah.
See what happens tomorrow. See what happens the second half of the day. See if there's a Friday sell-off, if there's any opportunity to get in. But yeah, just be patient for that nice discount. And I like to see maybe like a 5%. If there's like a 5% drop in a stock, like I'm like, okay, good. 3 to 5%. Okay, I'm getting in, getting a better dollar cost average.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you guys, I don't know about this. I don't know this company, but Huang Zhang, what's going on? What do you think about Infineon? Is a German AI company. Sorry. Let me see if I can pull this ticker.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, here it is. I think it's
IFNNY.
Yeah, and there's a F ticker
this
as
is
well.
an OTC?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know anything about the company, and the chart looks awfully choppy. I think this is really risky to be in.
You guys are asking some random ones.
It's pulling some out their ass.
How far is the studio from Ritz Cabaret? The Ritz is
Ritz Carlton is across the harbor. So the Ritz Carlton is across the harbor.
The Ritz Carlton is about 2 blocks. The Ritz. Oh no! Sorry. Yeah, you're talking about the Ritz. That is across the harbor.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the Four Seasons. The Ritz Cabaret is like 10 blocks. So you can go there. I'm not going there.
I'm gonna have to pass.
Another question. Team performance coaching. What's going on? Gold, WPM, KL on sale today. What are your thoughts on scaling in? You just pick one of those if you want to pick one of those.
Yeah, I like gold in general. GOLD, gold. Barrick Gold is going to be the one that I would probably rather go with. Gold's, it's been coming down here, obviously, and the biggest reason is vaccine news. This is when this dropped off significantly. I think that there's definitely going to be some good opportunities to grab some gold. We're looking at levels here that we haven't seen in probably a year. So I would be looking to grab some gold, but I like GOLD the best. I'm looking here at the chart. Yeah, this is levels we haven't seen since, well, at least June of this year. I thought we hadn't seen this since a year ago, but we're getting close, man. Look for maybe
like a good opportunity.
GOLD 2365 is what I'm looking at on GOLD. Also 2258. This kind of does resemble gold futures as well. It does follow it pretty closely. Not always, but pretty closely, about as close as you can get. So I would look for those areas on GOLD, but this is the play that I would go after.
Is this Barrick Gold?
Yes. Their CEO does a phenomenal job with the company.
Got it. So this is an interesting question. So like, if you go to gold, what is, I guess, just Barrick Gold is different than just gold.
Correct.
Like the gold cost, right?
Correct.
So if you pull up the gold chart, it looks like it's right at a support. No?
Yeah, it is. And that's what GOLD also follows that. So,
Okay. So no matter what I'm in, if I'm in something related to gold, like this might be potentially, obviously confirm with your chart, but this might be a good opportunity in general.
yeah. What is the gold ETF that I always go after too?
Um,
GDL.
that's not JNUG, is it?
No, GDL or GLD. It's been a long time since
GLD, that's it.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've traded a gold ETF, but yeah, same thing. You can see how like it just is just on a larger scale that this actually mirrors GOLD Barrick Gold. That's why I like Barrick Gold. It's cheaper, it gets you an opportunity to have some more, and it moves the same. So that's why I like gold over the actual ticker symbol GOLD, which is Barrick Gold, over some of these other ETFs, just because I just think it's a better run company for one, and it's cheaper and it moves pretty similarly.
Matt Arnold, thanks for the donation. Oh, good. I wanted to get, okay. Shane asked this question I wanted to get to. I know we don't chase boners around here, but how do you like Palantir long-term? I'm not trying to swing it, so the run-up isn't as concerning to me.
Yeah, that's a great point. We've been talking about this since it was under $10 a share. We said anything under 10 was a buy. Some of you might have even gotten in the $9 range and are now up 100% on this thing. As far as buying now, though, I still would wait. I would give it some time to cool off at least a little bit and see if it comes back down to at least $15. But this is absolutely insane. Good for any of you guys who was able to get into this. Sitting at $18.75 now. I like Palantir long term as well, though. And so if you decided to get into starter, I'm not mad at you for it. But I think you might get some opportunity to get some in a little bit cheaper than where it's sitting at right now. We're talking 100% move in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many questions. Sorry, guys. Do you know a good stock to invest in for silver?
SLV.
Okay. Do we have any? Andrew asks, do you have any opinions on Neo? Andrew just joined today.
Okay.
So
I'll give you a break. I'll give you a break. Neo has come down 20% since its high at 54, actually 25% since its high at 54.20, and then after earnings, starting to move up here. This is a sympathy to Tesla right now. I think I strongly believe that's why it's moving. All of EV is moving right now because of Tesla. But we've talked about Neo in the past, and people will argue with me all day long about it, and that's fine. For me personally, this could go to $100 a share, and I'm still not getting it just because of my trust issues with Chinese companies that don't have adequate filings. And if you look at some of the Form 6s here, none of them are audited financials, and that's something that I just don't like at all about. Neo can still go up, and that's fine if you want to buy it, and that's fine. I think it probably actually will continue to go up at this point. But there's just too much risk involved here for me that I don't really care for. And if I'm going to go into something in the EV space, it's just going to be Tesla all day long.
Martin Sanino, welcome to the crew. How you doing?
Thanks for joining, man.
So, dude, it's awesome. We got a bunch of people coming in. If you're thinking about the crew, I'm going to provide you a little bit extra incentive to join the crew. So we're almost at 1,000 Chaos Crew members.
Yes.
And what Brad and I decided to do was we wanted to sweeten the deal for those that are kind of on the fence. And as a thank you for those who are joined, we're giving away one free share of Tesla to a crew member once we hit 1,000.
Yep.
So once we hit 1,000 crew members, which we're only about 50 off, we are going to give away a share of Tesla, random drawing on Stock Watch Sunday that we'll do. So we're probably less than 2 weeks away, less than 2 Stock Watch Sundays away.
Hopefully.
If I had to guess.
Hopefully.
Yeah, as long as you guys don't cancel.
Yeah.
So, Martin's in Baltimore. Nice. Yeah, you're committed. You're pot committed, friend. Yeah, so if you guys want to join the crew, you got to be a member of the crew when we do the drawing. So you'll have an opportunity to get one free share of Tesla. So we'll buy you one share of Tesla if you win the raffle. So we want to start doing more of those things. This will be the first one we're doing of the kind.
Yeah.
Tesla share. Yeah, Steve. So hopefully it's not at 1,000 by the time we get this
I
away.
know. Yeah, somebody made the comment after we talked about it last Stock Watch Sunday, and then Tesla goes to $500 a share. It was only like low 400s then. They're like, well, it's getting more expensive, so we don't care. It could get to 1,000. That's fine. But we would like to get our Chaos crew members to 1,000. We certainly would appreciate that, and it just helps support the channel, helps us work towards things like the studio and that sort of thing. We just appreciate all of your all support. Thanks so much for that. I do have a question over here on Twitch. Thoughts on entering into Uber? I got in at 41.50. It dipped for a bit, back into the green now. Thinking of collecting the little green that I got and rolling into something else. Half duplex gaming. I think that would probably be the route to go as far as I'm concerned on Uber. I think if you ask any restaurant owner, especially if they're a small business restaurant owner, they can't stand Uber Eats. It literally F's them over. And their ride sharing side of things, obviously not doing well because of COVID, but people are looking, as an opportunity to get in because of the vaccine that's looming and is going to be coming. But they also have the AI side of things too with Tesla and their robot taxis. They've already expressed interest in actually joining forces with Tesla and the robot taxis, but we'll see if that actually pans out. There's a lot of speculation involved in that. And Uber has, along with Lyft, has been a grow at all costs kind of system, which is something that I'm not really a big fan of.
Couple questions. Yeah, Uber Eats horrible.
Yeah.
Erica Marie, welcome to the crew. Erica, I thought Erica was in here before.
She
Maybe
was.
not.
She might have rejoined.
Okay, so she's officially the overall We Trade HQ fam because she's also a crew member for Don Front, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and she's in the mentorship and everything. So, oh no, she is new. She might be her first time. She's a gray bear.
Oliver said 50 cents per subscriber. Yeah, pretty much.
There we go.
Hey, we ain't lying. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Aaron Chen said, join the crew, get the Tesla and dip.
Yeah. Hey.
Andrew,
I know.
So
watch when we get to 1,000 and we give it away. How many people will just drop off?
Yeah. When you say member of the crew, do you mean YouTube per crew? Yeah. So if you're level 1 or level 2, you're a member of the crew. So
yeah,
you join the membership, you're in. If you got a bear or bull by your name, you are part of the crew.
Yep. And you can be level 1 or level 2. It doesn't matter. We're not requiring you to be part of level 2 or anything like that. If you're just in the crew, you're in.
Lynn's photo. What's going on? Etsy up good today. Thanks, Brad and Fat Man. I assume that means you're in it. Good job. Good
Hell
work.
yeah.
Giovanni, I love the channel and would love that Tesla share too. Wouldn't we all? What's the next resistance level for Penn? So Penn still above 70. That's nice.
Yeah. We had a running joke over the last 2 days that it was just hanging around 69. Seemed to really love that number.
Is Steve King running this stock?
I know, right? But you look at this, really, honestly, 71 is going to be the next area of resistance for this. You look at this on the daily chart. Not going to actually draw this line here for you on Webull. By the way, if you guys are interested in opening an account on Webull, getting 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600. Actually, I think it's 3 free stocks at this point. They're running a promo. If you open an account with $100 or more, I get a free stock out of it as well. Everybody wins. So if you're interested in that, link's in the description. But looking at this, really $71 seems to be kind of the spot for it. I think that's going to be the next area of resistance. So gets up over that, we could start heading back towards 76. Man, I really think this gets to 90 by the end of the year.
Absolutely. Michigan news.
Yeah.
Telling you.
Yeah.
Definitely above 80, my target here. Landon L, I hear you. I got you. So, Baidu, BIDU, thoughts on that. And then don't let me forget about the Costco. Jayco, what is your thoughts on Costco? So
sure.
Baidu.
Baidu, I really don't know much about. It is selling off quite a bit. It looks awfully choppy. I don't know much about the company. If I'm looking at the chart though, the next time it actually looks any kind of relevant organization to it is down in the 130 at 130 flat. So look to see if it comes back down to 130. Looks like maybe they had some pretty unfavorable earnings, and that might be why it's selling off. So see if it comes back down to 130. That's probably where I would end up scooping some up if it holds those levels.
I feel like I looked at Baidu years ago. Like we're talking about a decade, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Baidu.
Yeah.
I think they're essentially like the Chinese Google, like search engine.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
And then they like Google and Squarespace like fused together.
Gotcha.
Oh, I don't think your screen was shared.
Oh, really? Sorry. It's not. There you go. There it is. So here I'll show you. Just draw this line here at 130. This is kind of where I'm looking as far as the chart's concerned.
No, Garcia, that was an accident. We normally show them. Jayco asks thoughts on Costco.
Costco is one of the best companies that you can be in. Came out and we talked about this dividend. What I would say September is when I really started talking about special dividend showing up on Costco. So they have a regular quarterly dividend, and then about every 2 years or so, they'll come out with a special dividend that's outside of the regular dividend that they give out. Special performance and stuff like that. Obviously, Costco's been doing really well through the Rona, so that's why they gave a $10 per share investment or dividend on Costco because of how well they've been doing. As far as getting in, this is one of those ones where I'd say you get into Costco because you're looking to basically get in on those dividends, those quarterly dividends, those special dividends. Not something that I would necessarily go into for any kind of really great growth. Now, they've had some really awesome moves, obviously, with the Rona, but when you look at this historically, the stock doesn't really provide huge growth gains, and really the dividends is where it's at. They have a great employee stock program. They really treat their employees very well. I've worked with Costco pretty closely in my past life when I was working in finance professionally. So I like Costco a lot. There's not enough good things I can say about the company, and I would definitely be investing in them.
Yeah. So this is going to be interesting because, and I'm thinking about this play, and Brad, tell me if there's any holes in my game.
Yeah.
So Costco has had about a 5% move since they announced this, more or less.
Yeah.
Little less than that. And so it kind of had a little bit of a run up, starting to come back a little bit. I'm going to look at it tomorrow to get in. December 2nd is the ex-dividend date.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the dividend play. I'm going to sell it, accept a bit of a runoff. And then right around the corner, about a week and a half later, is earnings.
Yeah.
And Costco, from everything I hear, like they're crushing it with obviously the lockdowns and stuff. So I think this is a great timing play where you can play that run up, and you don't have to play the run up, play the dip. After the second, I think there's going to be a sell off.
Yeah. There usually is too anyway.
Play that into earnings, because that $10 is over 2% right now yield. Yeah. 2%, like not over a year at one time.
Right.
You're getting 2% off. So that's what I would do. Definitely you don't have to play that, but I can't see how that doesn't run into earnings, how you don't get it on sale.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty solid strategy overall, especially if you see a dip. If you don't, then the question becomes, well, is the price baked into the expected earnings and that sort of thing? But if you see a dip in Costco after the ex-dividend date, it makes a lot of sense. I think it's definitely something to keep an eye out for.
And you'll have essentially a week for it to run back up, or for it to run up. If you want to hang on to it, cool. If you don't, whatever. But that's going to be one we'll certainly keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Steve Jackson said I had a buy order on Penn for $61 at 64. Missed it. Yeah, we miss them sometimes.
That sucks.
Thoughts, Daniel Collins. Oh, this is funny. Ema said Steve King is a burner account for Dave Portnoy. I believe that.
Yeah.
Daniel Collins, thoughts on Roku? Do you think there's more upside tomorrow or profit taking?
That's a great question. I this is kind of why I sold off of the Zoom a little bit, because I am a little bit nervous about the run up and how people are perceiving this vaccine news. I mean, we have AstraZeneca that could be potentially coming out, and they actually said this morning that they have a very effective vaccine coming out. They went all the way up to the point of saying what their efficacy rate was and stopped. It basically said that it's very effective, not giving us a solid number just yet. But don't discount Johnson & Johnson yet. So I'm kind of trying to play the short game a little bit on Zoom because we know what kind of reactions we get when we start to see positive vaccine news. So, I played it because of, how far it had been beaten down and all that good stuff. I think that we could see something similar with Roku. If we see positive vaccine news from either one of these companies, let's just say Johnson & Johnson comes out with something better than 95% and the storage rates are even better, or the way that it gets stored is even better, we could see an even further drop on some of these quote unquote coronavirus plays. It does lend itself to opportunities, but I would consider taking some off the table. We're getting to almost all-time highs on Roku. So if you haven't trimmed anything off the table after it's made a 10% run, I think it makes a lot of sense to do it now.
Yeah. Long-term, I think Roku's great. They obliterated earnings.
Yeah.
Like they had an incredible earnings, projected negative, and they blew. I mean, it was like negative 42 cents a share, and they came in positive 9 cents. Something crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good company long term, but this is a pretty incredible run. So next question we have Sean, been trying to get to level 2 for a week or so, having a hard time navigating. Do I need to be on the computer? Cannot find the link on the iPad. Thanks, fellas. Some other people had issues with that. We're trying to actually work on potentially having it somewhere else to make it easier for you guys. But who said? Deadly said I had to do it on my computer. So I'm not sure, but you should be able to click the link in the description.
Yeah, it's not always kind to Apple users, I guess because it's Google. But I've heard some stories from some folks who have iPhones that sometimes can't even see the join button on their other YouTube app. So that's why I always put the link in the description as well. But yeah, I don't know.
Camilo, what's going on? Daniel said he was in at 221. I guess that's for Roku and didn't trim yet.
Yeah, I would definitely consider trimming something at this point.
Camilo, what's going on? Talking about coronavirus and Zoom. Thoughts on Peloton? We love Peloton.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about some Peloton, Fat Man Zoom. Yeah,
so Peloton currently just right into the red. It's at 104, down 0.36%. We were talking about it right below when it dipped 100. These $100 levels are just uncalled for. Peloton is going to have a monster quarter. Holiday sales, lockdown, all this stuff going up. They have pent up demand,
New Year's,
launching new products. All this stuff's going to be awesome. New Year's resolutions. We're going to be buying Peloton. Gyms aren't coming back for some time now. This is going to set them back even further. Peloton screams by. I think it's absurd that it went below 100. Yeah. I bought it. Right below 100. So, I still think these are good levels for it.
Yeah. I agree with all of that. I mean, Peloton's probably, I know we make some pretty outlandish claims sometimes, and lots of times, to be fair, they're pretty right. But I think this outlandish claim could be, or this bold prediction, that this gets to 150 by the end of January.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know why it's not at 120. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, I know why, obviously, because of vaccine, but this should be at 120. And we should talk about it's ridiculous below 120. The fact that it came below 100, come on now.
Yeah, I think investors are making a huge mistake thinking that Peloton should just be abandoned because of the vaccine. I think that's just a huge mistake on investors' parts. In that Peloton is honestly, you want to talk about a stock that could be a quote unquote next Tesla. That's Peloton. I mean, that it has the same type of grassroots cult-like atmosphere, or the investors and users to this. And I think that we could see some monster moves, and Peloton has the ability to scale unbelievably well. We've already seen that from just their services side of things. Their exercise equipment, they're already expanding out to. So listen, man, if you want to hold on to Peloton, Peloton for the short term. Yeah. If you want to hold on to it for the short term, I think you're in good shape. You want to hold on to it for a long term, I think you're even better shape.
Yeah, I would agree that you can't underestimate that, Colt.
You really can't.
I put like Tesla, Penn, and Peloton all in the same boat.
Yeah.
For like their cult-like following.
Yep.
And, you know, Dave Portnoy, CEO, like Elon, like they can move the stock with a tweet. Dave says one thing. So
yeah,
it's crazy. Oh, I meant to tell you guys something. I don't know if I mentioned this on the live stream. I know I told you, Brad, but Penn apparently is Dave Portnoy is going to get a bar stool house in Michigan, just like he had one in Philly.
Yeah.
So they're going to be streaming content there, but like that, their grassroots marketing strategy is going to be awesome. Where they go to as they open new cities, they go there, they spend a couple days there a week, get content there. And if people don't realize this, Dave Portnoy is a Michigan alum. He has a huge contingency in Michigan. So I don't want to say they're going to win the race, but they're going to be a lot closer than people realize. When we looked at the numbers for Penn, FanDuel, and DraftKings for Pennsylvania, Penn was like 50%, and it was like a 50% of DraftKings and a third of FanDuel, and they had been in the market for years. So Penn starting at the same time as them, you know what, I'm going to say it. They're actually going to beat those other two in revenue. I feel it.
Yeah.
Gaming revenue, when Michigan opens, they're going to be the leader.
I think they're going to be probably a much stronger presence in Michigan than they would even in Pennsylvania. Just because of kind of that hometown feeling as far as Portnoy is concerned. I mean, Pennsylvania is doing extremely well, but I think that I would agree with you that they probably win the race in Michigan for sure.
Yeah. Camilo said, I'll probably exit Zoom and get some Peloton and some more Penn. I know Brad said he sold out of Zoom. Obviously, it all depends on your situation.
Yeah.
Zoom and Peloton typically move similarly. There's room for both of them to run.
Yep.
I'd be in both of them if you possibly can.
Yeah.
Penn's obviously a great call. Well, shit, boys, just guy here may have 6 winning numbers. May I have 6 winning numbers, please? 6 winning numbers. Peloton, Penn, Zoom, Baba, Nvidia, and PayPal.
There we go.
Did I tell you, or did you see the email about Webull now offers crypto trading?
Yes. Well, they've always offered it, but I think they're just promoting it at this point.
All right. Well, now you guys know.
Thanks, man.
For you crypto people, you can, if you've been thinking about Webull, thinking about jumping in Webull, that's another perk of Webull.
Yeah, links in the description if you want to create an account with Webull. Got a question over here on Twitch. Chris Lav asks, with EV being so hot, how do you feel about BLNK or Blink? They make a charging equipment for residential and commercial EVs. Got in at $12.85. Not sure if I should hold long or take profits and move on. Thanks. Well, Chris, BLNK has just been an absolute monster. And if you got in at 12 something, I think that your potential for even higher gains is certainly there. But man, one thing I always say that when people ask me this, like, should I sell? I don't know when to sell. Is that if you're profitable, there's no harm or came to anybody who took profit. I'm not saying that I would consider taking everything out, but trim something off. Start working towards taking your capital out of this and then leaving the rest in with house money. And I think that you'll be much more comfortable with leaving it in there and just kind of seeing where it goes, because then at that point your risk is minimized, but you also have the potential to continue to maximize profit. And so that's the way to go about doing that, in my opinion. I think Blink has a lot of good potential for it in the future, especially as they continue to expand that infrastructure. I mean, Tesla has their own, but I think that there's definitely room in this market for something like Blink as well.
This is interesting. Team Performance Coaching asked us about Tree. Any news or thoughts about Tree? So TREE is Lending Tree.
Yeah.
Online lending platform. It was down like 10% on Tuesday. It's continued to move down. It was it moved down on news that its largest shareholder was selling all of its shares below the market price. So they're going to sell 3 million shares of common stock at an offer price of $295. And then there's simultaneously 500,000 shares in another private placement. So that's 27% of their shares.
Jesus.
So it moved down.
Yeah, well, no
moved
shit.
down considerably. This might be an opportunity, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe, but I think I would at least give it some time to let it fizzle out because it still hasn't stopped selling. Yep. There's an opportunity here, maybe at 258, but I would have to see the selling stop. I mean, this amount of selling, this selling volume is absolutely insane. So I would have to wait to see the selling stop before I would consider getting in. But worth keeping on the watch list and just kind of seeing where it goes. At some point, it's going to become an overreaction. I'm not sure it's an overreaction just yet. That's a lot. That's a huge offering. So I would just give it some time, let it kind of figure itself out, and wait to see buying return before I'd be hopping into this thing.
Yeah. So look into their earnings. So they reported earnings they missed in the beginning of November. But yeah, that 250 and then even below that 230. Don't get stuck holding the bag on this one. This can be a great opportunity. If you believe in this company, you're on the right track as far as like these type of situations. So yeah, I mean, you could even get it. You could get it at 230. And if you get it there, it's going to be a steal potentially. So yeah, just have a good entry, scale in.
Yeah,
for sure. Scale in.
Yeah.
All right. You are welcome, friend. Is Snookeroo, is ZBRA a buy now? You guys rock. Thanks. You're welcome, Snook.
Hey, thanks, Steve. So Zebra is the company. This is a Motley Fool special. So literally, I got the email from Motley Fool at 1 o'clock saying that buy Zebra Technologies. That was literally the headline on Webull at 1 o'clock. Sure enough, you go and look at this chart. ZBRA goes the hell off. Now, I respect Motley Fool a lot. They make incredible calls. This is part of the game that I'm not sure I really appreciate a whole lot because every time they come out with an email, it goes off, whatever stock it is. We've seen this. They've been all over Fiverr. They've been all over Zoom. They've been all over CrowdStrike. They kind of do the same ones. And every time an email comes out on one of them, you see a spike. Give this some time to come back down. But that being said, I do like Zebra Technologies a lot. And actually, you can see that somebody, Seeking Alpha, just put out an article that said stock prices surges 6% after Motley Fool says it's a long pitch. So I agree with that. I think it's going to be a good one to consider getting into, but they're dominating markets in barcode printers and scanners, which is going to be good moving forward in the retail and commerce side of things. So I think it's a good time to potentially buy. Probably just not today. I would give it a time to have some profit takers get out of this. Looking at it on the 5-minute, just intraday here, it went all the way up to 367. Just give it some time. Maybe see if it comes back down to 350.
Eldon Rudy, don't forget to like team. All this info is key. Thanks, brother. Yeah, definitely like.
Appreciate it.
Scott Shanley. What's going on, Scott? Any chance or reasons in the future that Tesla will ever have another stock split? Now that it's getting into S&P 500, that shouldn't affect whether to do a stock split. They certainly could do a stock split in the future, but that won't have any impact on the S&P. Whether it's in or out of S&P, that won't impact the decision on whether they should.
Yeah.
D-Ray, what's going on? First Solar versus NEE, FSLR versus NEE Nextera. If you had to choose one, which one would you take?
First Solar.
All right, next question. KYM. This isn't a question, it's a statement. Switchback Energy ChargePoint is a better play than Blink.
Okay. Haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. I think we talked about it a long time ago. I think somebody asked about that.
There's so many stocks that we run through, man. It's hard to keep track of them all.
Vinay, Mcafee Earnings. What's going on, Vinay? Any thoughts on Mcafee Earnings?
I think McAfee, you can make a case for them to have really good earnings. You know, cybersecurity has been at the forefront of everybody's minds, especially with remote work, and they probably do have really solid earnings this week. They're just not as good of a run company as something like CrowdStrike or Palo Alto, but if Palo Alto is any indication of what might be in store for McAfee, even Norton, antivirus, that sort of thing, I think that they'll do really well. Also, CrowdStrike should be coming up within the next 2 weeks or so, I think. So that'll be one to watch out for as well.
Yeah. And on the chart, if you can get some confirmation, this may be a potential support where it's at.
Yep.
Yep. So worth a look. I'll look into McAfee because I feel like they had some news a few months back about like a restructuring or a refocus that we talked about, but it fell off my radar. But I remember thinking like, oh shoot, they're trying to make some moves and they're trying to shed their old label. So I'll look into that. If Vinay, if you have anything like any news like that, feel free to send it over stockwatchsunny.com. Just do ask a question and submit it. That'd be cool if you could let me know any information you have. And what's the next question we have? BUTube, what's going on? Will CVS get back to what they lost after the Amazon announcement?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no other. I mean, it's as simple as that. It'll be back. I think by the dip. I see Primetime real quick. I see Primetime DJs just asked about it too. I have not gotten into CVS. I'm just into so many other stuff that I haven't quite gotten into CVS as well. But I still think that CVS is buy. I just have not gotten into it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in CVS since it was, what's my cost per share? $61. So I've had it for in my long term. I've had it long term.
Nice.
In my other account, I've had it. So I'm hanging on to that long term, keeping it for a while.
It's cheap right now, and I mean that it's cheap.
Rob, Snapchat and pins. How do you feel about them at the moment? What are good entry points? We feel great about both of them.
Yeah.
We love both of them.
Yep, absolutely. Pinterest, as far as entry is concerned, I'd give it some time to cool off. It's had 7 straight green days. Give it some time. I think you'll get it in a little bit cheaper than where it's at right now.
Bro, do you have it on the hourly? I'm delayed what I can see from you.
No, I have it on the daily right now. And
put that thing on the hourly.
What am I looking at?
It's just a beautiful, I mean, obviously the daily is 7 days, but like, it's just a beautiful trend.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
I mean, well, this is but the past week, it's just been a nice, look at that. That's how you want it to look, people.
Yeah, you want to have something, another incentive to join the Chaos Crew. We talked about Pinterest being a buy 300% ago. It's been on the watch list 300% ago. That's how much we liked Pinterest. So
that's insane.
Really 350% ago. It was down $20. Snap, another one that we called out in the Chaos Crew on the watch list that was 100% ago. Came down to the $20 range after not so great earnings 2 quarters ago, and then knocked it out of the park this quarter. Now up at 42.22. We still love this one as well. The AI, the VR stuff that they have going on, I think is truly their competitive advantage, and I think that they're running with that. That's what's going to separate them from their social media siblings such as Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah. Snapchat. That was one we were banging on the drum just like we were for Rocket.
Yep.
And for you folks, I'm moving on from Rocket as far as banging on the drum. I still have it in my account, but you guys know how I feel. My new one is Penn. If you haven't figured it out, I'm going to be banging on the drum for Penn forever. So that's my latest. Old Rocket, Penn, Peloton. Yes. Trevor's Oh, somebody asked about Big C. Jayco. Big C has taken a hit recently. Thoughts on this? Somebody earlier asked as
Give them
well.
to me, man. What do you got?
I love Big C. It looks like it's trying to form a support, but we said this before, man. You know, $64, I guess I would say. If it falls below that, I'm
Look
off
out.
the Big C train.
Look at Big
Because
C.
we don't know what's going to happen.
Big C going to be a big V.
But with stimulus news, especially with the lockdown coming back,
Yeah.
I think this is a great opportunity for Big C at 68. And I have a hunch that if you get in, you're going to be loving some Big C too.
Yeah.
You're going to be thanking me for getting all that Big C. Big C went limp for sure.
Oh my God.
Mohammed, when do you expect Facebook will soar?
Once they get through all this stupid BS in the Senate, that's why it's been down. I say Facebook is a buy. Where is it actually? Is it in 250s yet?
Nah, 273.
Okay, so we're still okay. Facebook I think goes back up over 300 before long, but yeah, man, I think it's probably buy. If it comes back down here and retests 267, 268, I think that would be a good spot. I like what Shane says. Talk your shit. That's right about Pinterest.
Primetime said
Goddamn
Big
right.
C needs Viagra. If any stock deserved a boner candle,
That'd be Big C. Yeah. Oh, that would be poetic. That'd be hilarious.
Okay, boys, haven't heard any shit about Drive Shackster. The Drive Shackter, come on. You haven't heard it because I haven't wanted to talk about it. That was a slip. I wasn't trying to tell you guys. Listen, Drive Shack is going to be a bumpy ride, especially because it's lockdown. I can't even believe it's up 3% today.
I can't either.
But like, if it's at 143, it was coming down to 130. I wanted to actually add to it today. I missed that. It'll come down. It's volatile. But I mean, when we reopen, Drive Shack is going to go bananas.
Yeah.
And all it needs to do is get up to $4 and I'll be a happy man.
I'm looking at the weekly chart. Yeah, it's got a ways to go.
Wait, be patient. This is a very, very long-term play. If you guys want to get into it, there's a lot of risk associated with it, but
A lot of risk, and it's going to take a while, but could pay off in the long run.
yeah, it definitely is going to take a while. All right. So thanks for the donate, Evan. What do you guys think of GE?
Well, we've been talking about GE. Speaking of talking my shit, since $6. We said that GE was a buy when it came back down here in this area, and it's sitting at 964. It's down just 1% today so far, but we think that GE is going to do well. I think this is also going to be a bumpy ride. If you weren't here earlier in the show, I was talking about my entry in Spirit. And this is also another benefactor of Boeing getting back into the MAX 737 production. So it's going to take a while for this to continue to roll, but the CEO has taken great strides into improving the quality of the company from a balance sheet perspective, among other things. And with Boeing kind of getting back on its feet, I think that GE stands to benefit pretty greatly. Look for this to make moves back to the teens. I think that we do see that in the very near future, but it's not going to be without its red days. That is for sure.
Trevor Sachs, I used to have Starbucks in my long term, got out of it to generate cash. What would be a good price to get back in? So some people are worried about the lockdown. Starbucks, I love Starbucks. I wouldn't be too worried about it because they've actually been preparing for this now.
Yep.
It could come back, and it could even come back to 90. If it comes back below 90, I'm going in. I'm already in long term, but I would definitely say that's a clear buy. But they're ready for this next lockdown, and I think they're gonna thrive if this ends up sort of lasting longer than expected.
Yeah. Somebody said something about ChargePoint.
What's the entry on Starbucks?
Oh, the entry on Starbucks for me would be probably 95, 75. And then if it can't hold that, there's another gap that looks like it needs to get filled down here around $91. Well, I think it would take a lot for it to come down that far, but that looks like an extremely solid support. Back when we first talked about it after earnings, I said it needed to get back up over that $91 mark. And goddamn, if it didn't do that, it freaking went crazy last week and hasn't looked back after it broke over 91. But now it becomes a new support now that it was its old resistance.
Vinay was in and out of Drive Shack for 20% profit. Nice work. Shane, Brad's been telling me to buy Zoom since $1. True story, bitches.
I don't know about $1. $100, definitely.
ChargePoint is still SBE, the SPAC.
Oh, SBE. Yeah, somebody was asking me about this. They had some sort of deal with Apple or something. I don't know much about it, but goddamn, it's up 35% right now. And it's up about 700% or so, 600 or 700% from just a couple months ago. I wouldn't be chasing this thing, that's for sure. But look for a pullback.
Benjamin Castaneda Rivera, do you know any companies that machine parts for planes that trade publicly? Well, GE one.
GE, Spirit, we talked about that. Those are the two biggest ones that I would go after. But there's plenty of ones in the aerospace field. I think there's probably easily about 20 or 30 of them.
All right, cool.
Even Northrop Grumman would be another one.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Cullen, what do you guys think about shorting Apple because of Tesla getting to the S&P? Apple has to get trimmed.
Well, nobody said Apple has to get trimmed. They're going to be trimming something, but I doubt anybody's selling Apple to go buy some Tesla. I can tell you that right now. Nobody says that Apple has to get trimmed in order for the Tesla to get into the S&P. We've liked Apple right now at the 117 range as far as support's concerned. Just bounced off of that today. So looks good. I wouldn't be worried about Apple in the least.
Vinay, Friday sell-off considering vaccine and some certainty. What do you think?
Friday, there's always some selling, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Mohammed, when will Amazon? Well, so I'll say I feel good about tomorrow. I do think there might be a second half of the day sell-off, but I actually think we might be green tomorrow, especially the stuff we've been preparing to play. So the stay-at-home stocks, I think, should do well.
Yeah.
Mohammed, when will Amazon soar? Is it the same story of Facebook? Yes. Amazon, Facebook, we're waiting for the move. It's going to happen.
Yep.
Can't really predict when, but these are great entries.
Yeah.
Great entry opportunities.
Yep.
Just saw a Business Insider article that came out today with Peloton customers complaining about delays. I know we still love this stock, so hopefully it pulls back a little bit. Yeah, if it I don't know if it'll pull back on that because they've been having issues with delays, but that's a supply issue.
Yeah.
So that means demand's great. And so we talked about that. They had sort of addressed the supply issues. I think there's going to be some more delays as holiday approaches.
Yeah.
But that's great for us. Definitely great for us. So if there's I think this was the pullback that happened.
Yeah. I'm now going off kilter here, but I was just checking in the Spirit Air system that had a hell of a move since the overall market did. It's looking great. Glad I added to this morning. I actually ended up adding to it down here at 31. So if you guys are interested in this, 31 seems to be a solid support for it now. So anytime it gives you a gift like that, I think that's where I'd be starting to pick some more up.
Laura Kraus, Gentle Yoga. We talked about Blink already.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you when. It was
I know.
It was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
James McCrea works for an aerospace machine shop. Nice. So publicly traded?
Let us know.
Do you have any questions on your end?
I was just looking through Twitch. I didn't really see too many more. Saw the charge point news. But that's it. That's all I got.
Thoughts on Fastly?
Fastly's going to continue to do well. I think the TikTok debacle is probably behind them, and I think they're going to continue to move up. One thing somebody did ask was about earnings today. There are earnings today. Workday's one that we had on the watch list for Stock Watch Sunday. And they have earnings. I expect them to beat today. I don't know who else has earnings today, but Workday's probably the bigger one out of all of them that probably might have a lot of eyeballs on here after hours.
Oh, sorry. There was somebody else that's today or tomorrow. I'll look it up. I wanted to give thoughts. We just covered Fastly. Wanted to give thoughts on overall. You mentioned the TikTok stuff. I was talking to Don yesterday, and it was really interesting because we were talking about Baba, and I'm like, man, this is really stupid. Like, welcome to the crew, Rudy. And the one thing I wanted to mention as far as Baba was concerned, the situation, Foot Locker's tomorrow. That'll be keep an eye on that one.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. But one thing I said this, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. So he was like, well, there's so much uncertainty around China, and like, he read something about Trump threatening to just like burn the whole thing down and like put something in place for China trade. And I was like, bro, think about this. Everything, and this isn't knock on Trump, but this is not to say anything other than like, look at Trump's track record. Not speaking of him as a president, but as a tweeter. Everything Trump said, like, as far as it relates to the market.
Yeah.
What has really happened? Workhorse, USPS deal. First of all, that deal was already going to happen.
Yeah.
And he just put workhorses. We haven't heard anything about that. Like, he hasn't pushed that. TikTok deal. There was this deadline for it to complete. That may not even happen anymore. Right. There was a couple other things I brought up where I'm like, dude, there are too many really big companies with a lot of money that have too much invested in China for us to withdraw from China in any sense. So anytime this stuff comes around, if there's a pullback, like, China's going to be fine as far as like the business side of things.
Yep.
So again, this is why I feel so strongly about Baba, to the point where I was looking at, we keep talking about Amazon. If Amazon goes to 4,000, we're talking about a 25% move.
Yeah.
We think that could happen. But if Baba goes to 300, that's a 20% move practically.
Yep.
So like, I feel good about Baba going to 300. And so that's why I'm like, okay, I'm adding on to Baba. And so I'm still in Amazon, don't get me wrong, but rather than adding on to Amazon and increasing my position, I actually just got Baba. So anyways, I say that because these things that happen where Trump tweets, he may do these things on the way out. These are just opportunities. They're really good opportunities, if you ask me, because largely they haven't really come to fruition. So I don't think there's anything to be worried about.
No, I don't think so either. And with all that mess, I mean, so there's some legislation going through, and it's actually bipartisan as well, about cracking down on some of these Chinese stocks that aren't quite as transparent as they should be. Baba doesn't fall into that category. Something like NIO actually does. So, Luckin Coffee, everybody thought that was going to be a great company. And now people with their hindsight, all of a sudden think they know a thing or two. And they're like, oh, well, NIO's not anything like Luckin Coffee. Like, really? Well, it's being, propped up by the Chinese government. And how trustworthy have they been? So and that's why I have a big concern with that company. And there's other ones as well. So those are the kind of ones that Congress is going after. Something like Baba, not so much. The CEO of Baba, is an extremely intelligent and is actually extremely intelligent human being, and has just done massive things with that company, and has even expressed his own distaste for some of the things that the Chinese government has done to his own, at his own risk, mind you. So, I think that something like that, you don't have too much to worry about. it's some of the smaller companies that haven't been quite as transparent as they should be that you may have to question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is at the top of the list as far as Chinese companies because of, they're big on operating by the rules and they know what that means. So these are good opportunities. Market just closed. Feel free to give a quick rundown. By the way, Snapchat's up 4%, craziness.
Unbelievable.
But feel free to sign us off.
So I just wanted to sign you up. Well, not yet. So just real quick, Penn National closed at the high, just about $70.50. What a freaking monster, bro. What a freaking monster. Incredible close to the entire day, really. Tesla started to come back. It did pull back just below $500 a share, sitting at $499.27 is what it closed at. Actually starting to make its way back to 500. But man, what a freaking day, guys. Again, if you want to join the Chaos Crew and check out the portfolio that we have built via Webull, we are now up 21% at the close of today compared to the rest of the market that is only up around 7%. And that's just NASDAQ alone. If we compare it to something like Dow Jones, we're even further. We've even expanded that gap even more. And so if you guys want to check that out, also helping support the channel, make sure you're hitting the join button next to subscribe, or the link is in the description if you can't find it there. And that's going to do it for us. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out. Hopefully Workday has some really good earnings. We'll check that out too. Maybe talk about that tomorrow during our private live stream for Chaos Crew members. Anything else you got for me, Fat Man Zoom?
Guys, join the crew. If you haven't joined, have an opportunity to get a free share of Tesla.
That's right. We're getting to 1,000. Let's do it.
Love you guys.